You can't keep running. It's going to just get worse and it's going to engulf you. It's like you're running from a snowball, which is constantly getting bigger and bigger as you're running down the hill away from it. The more you keep running, the bigger it's going to get. At some point, you have to turn, you have to face it and let it hit you, and it's going to hurt, but it's only going to hurt for a second, maybe a minute or a week, but like then it will stop hurting and then you can rebuild.
Yep.
I was going through a really bad mental state for a couple of years there, which was attributed to a few things, like my job at the time, an overwhelm of stress that I was going through, the relationship that I was in, and a whole number of other things. And I was sort of cowering in fear and backed myself into a corner and then cower some more, and all of these stresses, all of these pressures from other people and from my job and relationship and everything else were overwhelming me. And then my mind started overwhelming me as well, because it was like joining their team, basically, is how I can explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And all I did was get further and further beaten down and further backed into this corner and further into the darkness. It was overwhelming me, to the point where I started breeding resentment for my job and for my relationship and for the people that were contributing to that suffering in my eyes at the time.
Yep.
It's easy to see in hindsight, but at the time I thought, this job, the people at work aren't helping me, my relationship, my partner isn't helping me, all of these things, they're working against me, they are attacking me, is like basically how it felt. And I know that's not the case, but when you're in that darkness and when you're not doing anything about it, you want somebody else to solve the darkness for you. You want all these people to stop the suffering. These are all the reasons that I feel bad and I feel depressed. It's all of these other things' fault. My partner, you need to stop putting the suffering on me. My job, you need to stop putting the suffering on me. But realistically, what it is me not taking any responsibility for that and saying, maybe it's a job that I don't want to be in, or maybe this is a relationship I don't want to be in, or maybe this is, maybe there are things that I want to do, but I need to take some responsibility and stand up for myself and say, this is my life and I want to be happy, and that's up to me to make that happen. And as I said, in hindsight, I realized that none of those things were causing the suffering. They were causing stress, and then I was letting that stress turn into suffering, which then turned into resentment and hatred and this poison that we spoke about in previous live streams, this poisonous mindset, which turns the world against me.
Yep.
It turns everything else against, it's me versus everything else which is attacking me. And that's just a really bad way to be in, man. But if you've been in a dark place mentally, I'm sure you can relate to that. So I reached out to Wally and to my other mate and basically said, my life is terrible. I'm feeling so much pain. I'm feeling so much suffering. I'm in a really dark spot. I don't know what to do. Can you help me? And both Wally and my mate basically said to me, no, we can't help you. You have to help you. Okay, that happened. What are you going to do about it? And then just that statement, what are you going to do about it? It was like, damn. And I just had this wave come over me of realization of that's right. And I'm getting goosebumps now, thinking about it. It's that's right. It's up to me to do something about this. Nobody else can solve my life.
Yeah.
Nobody else can solve all these problems. This is on me. I have to accept this. And regardless of whether I got here on my own or whether somebody else put me in this state, it's now up to me to dig my way out of it.
Yep.
And that realization hit me like a ton of bricks and sent me for a bit of a spin. And it was at that point that I started turning the ship around, because I was running from the darkness. I was running from the suffering and the pain. And then somebody was like, dude, you can't keep running. It's going to just get worse and it's going to engulf you. It's you're running from a snowball, which is constantly getting bigger and bigger as you're running down the hill away from it. It's the more you keep running, the bigger it's going to get. At some point, you have to turn, you have to face it and let it hit you. And it's going to hurt, but it's only going to hurt for a second and maybe a minute or a week. But then it will stop hurting and then you can rebuild.
Yep. I think it, like you said, as you turn the ship around, it is one of those things where we need to be aware that our life is our ship. You know, we are the driver of that ship, and we need to make sure that we have hold of that steering wheel. You know,
That's
because
right.
the problem is, so many people in our life might try and push their way in and take control of our steering wheel, and okay, cool, get out of here. Like, you're taking this in the wrong way. You're about to run us aground on my ship.
It's my ship.
I can't go and sit in the corner and close my eyes and hope that we don't run into the ground. I've got to get out there, grab hold of that steering wheel, even if I've never driven it before in my life, because my parents have always done this for me, or other people in my life have always had control.
Or it's just on autopilot.
It's on autopilot. I need to get in there, grab
Yeah.
that steering wheel, turn it around and get it away from land, you know, otherwise we're going to crash.
Mhm.
And it's really,
Or even if you have crashed, it's like, okay,
back it up.
it's
Turn
time to
around.
like rebuild. Like,
Yeah.
but again, it's on you.
Yeah, we've got to make sure we're taking on that fear of having the control, because it may not be something we're familiar with, and it can be quite overwhelming to realize everything you have, everything in your life right now is just an accumulation as to what you've built up to be. You know, if you
Or what you've let happen.
what you've let happen.
Maybe you didn't purposely build your life to this point, but you've let your life get to this point.
Yeah.
And what we're saying now is like, okay, well, that's enough. It's time to turn this thing around
Yeah.
and start going in the way that we want it to go.
Yeah.